This is Rhaphiolepis umbellata minor, and I use this plant a fair amount, and let me tell you why. You're seeing an example of it in front of my house. You see how there's a window behind there, and I use this as a structure plant or foundation planting quite a bit. Here's why. It's very tolerant of a lot of conditions. It's easy to grow. It's dark green, it can take full sun, it can take full shade, and that kind of flexibility is really nice. As you can see, it's got a glossy green, waxy leaf, makes it drought tolerant, can take garden conditions if it needs to, but these have been on drip irrigation for 9 years and been very happy in that situation. I don't give them much water, and yet they look dark green and happy all the time. They take shearing. I don't shear my plants, I hand prune them selectively so that they don't look cut up, but you can see how nice and dense this plant is. Also, they live a long time. One of the things I do in design is I like long-lived plantings. Some of the more native-y and drought-tolerant plants can be shorter lived, and again, when I have a spot as important as this where I need this plant to look good all the time for a long time, this is a really good candidate for that, or plants like it that are longer lived. So if you leave it alone, it's going to go probably, it can get as tall as 5 feet from what I've heard. I've never let mine get that tall. These are about 3 to 3.5 feet tall. And when they get about 6 inches higher than what you see, I cut them. I don't like to let plants block windows whenever I have that situation. Spacing, I would say that they're fairly upright, as you can see. You notice how the foliage is all pointing straight up. So it takes them a while to get 3 feet wide or so, although they certainly will. But when I'm spacing these in groupings, I like to space them about 2 feet on center to give me a fill that will happen within a year. And if you are more patient and you don't want to use as many plants, you can certainly space these 30 to 36 inches on center, and they would be fine like that. But then you've got to worry about the maintenance guy starting to separate them and prune them into individual plants. So as a designer, I like to anticipate how they might do that, and by putting them 2 feet on center, it becomes obvious to everybody that it's supposed to be a mass planting and not individual plants. As I said, they're drought tolerant. They are not deer tolerant. Rhaphiolepis is one of deer's favorite plants, so do not try these in a deer area. You will lose. And what else? Full sun all the way to shade, and everything in between. And again, our temperatures, these can take a lot of cold. I'm not sure how low they'll go, but they can easily handle the 20s in terms of temperature, and they work by the coast and they work inland. So Rhaphiolepis umbellata minor, excellent foundation plant, should be part of every designer's arsenal for foundation plantings, barrier plantings, low hedges or medium-sized hedges. It's very good for that. Oh, by the way, the flowers. These have a white flower that happens in the spring, if it happens at all. Most Rhaphiolepis bloom and have a big show in early spring. These are a big maybe. Some years I get literally no flowers. Other years I get a little bit of flowering. So don't use this for the flower. You'll be disappointed. But other than that, great foundation and structure plant in your designing.